Hi, everyone, and welcome back for episode 43 of the Simply One podcast. I'm your host, Colin, and I'm joined by my co-host, Chris.
How we doing, everybody?
We're just a couple of best friends who are passionate about all things pop culture. If you're looking for blah, blah, blah. If you're blah, 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 blah. If you're looking for lukewarm takes on movies, video games, TV shows, or even the occasional comic, then we've got the show for you.
Leave the cryptids to me.
No.
You leave the spooky stories to me.
You stay out of my territory. Now, this week, we're shooting for a smaller episode. Shooting for it. Hopefully, like I said. So just to schedule around the holiday weekend, honestly, was our thought was that way we don't have to all right, we saw this thing, or you know what I mean?
How long do you think we'd be able to keep a live stream open? I feel like we could do that for
hours. Mm-hmm. Like us just talking on a live.
Just us hanging out. Dude, if we did a stream, like a live stream of us binging The Long Dark.
Oh yeah,
that's 20 hours.
yeah.
I mean, we'll start in the morning.
We do it as our goal is. We're gonna do this for the next few days. You know what I mean? Nonstop. We're just wearing diapers. It's like that.
We got those helmets with the cans of Red Bull in them with the straws.
Yeah, we're just. He's the number one fan. We're just getting toasted on Red Bull and no sleep, and just shitting our pants. Our diapies.
You had a bolo.
It's up my back like a toddler. Poor Morgan's every time she passes the door.
Oh my god,
that's disgusting. On that note, we do hope that everyone had a great weekend.
Yeah,
able to be with their family. I know that Christmas, the tail end of Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all kind of coincided over the 4-day weekend. So whatever you're celebrating, hopefully you had a good time with it.
If you're not celebrating anything, I hope you had the good time off.
Yeah, I hope you had the time off. Yeah. Got the time off. And if you're in the U.S., obviously we hope that you were safe and warm, because was a Storm Elliott.
If you're not in the U.S., then fuck you.
No. I just mean the U.S. is getting absolutely ravaged by a winter storm right now.
If you don't chew Big Red, then fuck you.
I think it was, hey, San Diego, go fuck yourself. I think it was Friday or Saturday I saw that 90% of the continental United States was at or below 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So 90% of the country was freezing. You figure here where we live, it was negative 40 wind chill on Friday.
Dude, it was tough.
Yeah, so, and we had it fortunate. I mean, obviously it was a deadly storm, traffic, accidents, things like that. So, I mean, obviously we were safe and fortunate, but we hope that everybody else also got to be so. No, so we are doing a, quote, small episode. We're going to call this a Minisode, but it is just going to be our 43rd episode. Mm-hmm. Reviewing God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah. Are we talking about Andor?
Yeah, I figure it'll be super brief.
Yeah.
I liked this episode. We're not going to talk about what it was in those episodes other than oh, yeah, that was a cool episode because XYZ.
I was just planning on talking about moments from
this
year. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Perfection. Yeah, we won't have any news, cryptids, or what you've been thinking about this week. So, again, hopefully this lets us kind of keep things brief and brisk. Before we jump into God of War, we are going to talk about Andor. So, do you want to start Andor or do you want me to? I'll start Andor. You start Ragnarok because you're more fresh.
Okay.
All right. So, just in general, I kind of like the slow pace of Andor. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes I feel it didn't feel like some of the shows where it's starts off strong, really drags to the middle, and then has a cool finale.
Think
You know what I mean? Where I feel kind of is the formula of a lot of the just Disney Plus shows anymore.
I'd say a lot of TV in general.
Yeah. I think that comes down to budget.
Yeah.
Of all right, we're going to put all the cool shit at the beginning and the end. We'll hook them,
Keep them in.
And then reward them, right? Well, The Walking Dead was terrible for that.
Yeah.
With the premieres, the mid-season finales, the mid-season premieres, and the finales.
Same thing over and over.
Yeah, it was we're going to have a really banger mid-episode, or, starter episode.
We got to talking about how they just finished it up, and we kind of want to go back and
look at it potentially. Yeah.
Maybe take a watch.
But for me, episodes that or moments that were yo.
I will say, just as you, I figured maybe we'll keep pace with each other. There's just we'll just keep pace with each other. But I wasn't a big fan of. I don't know. I'm indifferent between how the pacing was.
Yeah.
At times, I really did like the because it was a slow burn.
Right,
which
yeah, it was more
I
like
feel like is more rewarding at the end.
intrigue and espionage and like semi-politics.
Yeah, I will say I thoroughly enjoyed the politics in this one much more than
like I
did.
liked the stuff that was going on with Mon Mothma.
Yeah, I really
Of
did
like her
too.
leading the double life as a politician.
But I liked how tense it was. They did a really good job at that. And
Yeah.
if they could have just kept that going while still having it as a slow burn, I feel like that would have been.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a drag at the start of like the prison stuff.
Yeah, but then I did like
the prison had payoff.
Yes, it had really good payoff.
Yeah.
Especially in like the when they escaped and everything, and
Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis is giving that big old speech.
Yeah.
And then he can't swim.
And he can't swim, so like he doesn't get to escape.
Yeah, someone from work, I was talking to him. I mentioned, I was like, "Do you think they died? Do you think he died? He jumped, but because he was like, I'm
right, I'm dead either way.
Yeah, or do you think they're gonna hold him, and they're gonna take information from him about Cassie and Andor?
Maybe. Well, I don't think he'd give it up.
You don't think so? Because we also got to talking that he's not an important character because we don't see him in anything else. So I mean,
right? Yeah.
You can't do too much with him.
Right. Yeah, he can't be too critical.
All right.
Though I do know that there has to be a time jump of some kind between the finale of this season and the premiere of next season, or maybe next season spans. There might be a time jump in next season.
They kind of did that with this one here, with like him being in the prison for a year.
Yeah.
In his 6-year sentence, or was it 2 years or?
Oh, I don't remember. He was in there for a minute.
He was in there for a couple of years, but not all of his sentence. But he was there. They did do a time jump in that one, so I can't see why they wouldn't do it in the.
Yeah, because basically next season has to take us all the way up to, has to show us him having been in the rebellion all the way up until he's not. You break it?
Nope. No.
Okay.
I thought I did. I thought I broke my mic.
I was like, dude.
Dude, moving forward.
Yeah. Fucking Stellan Skarsgård's ship.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Like when the Empire has them in the tractor beam. Like that's so smart. Like that, I like that kind of stuff where like it makes good sense, and we haven't seen it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where
the science behind something super sci-fi that we can look at and be like,
if these things existed, that makes sense to have.
Yeah.
Right. Like
logically.
if this tractor beam could exist, right? And I like the process of it of like just full thrusters so that they really have to amp up the tractor beam to hold you,
and then dropping all that
like just lead
debris. Yeah.
Just whoosh, just firing lead into the tractor beam. Tore that tractor beam like antenna or whatever you want to call it, the array.
And then he hit
shred it.
Light
and then
speed.
he was like gone. And he had the fucking lasers that came out of the side of his ship. And he did a little spin maneuver and took out them TIE fighters and then was just gone. I was like, yo.
Okay. When it comes to like cool ships in Star Wars,
yeah,
I'm not gonna. I think Boba Fett's ship,
Slave One,
sitting up there. I really like.
You gotta love the Falcon.
Oh, of course, the Falcon's always gonna be up there.
Yeah,
I feel like, but that one's kind of like a.
Yeah, that's.
I gotta set that one aside.
That's like having the Pulp Fiction poster up on your wall,
right? Yeah,
you know. It's like, oh, how cool you are! You like Pulp Fiction,
I do have a Pulp Fiction poster. I know.
But I wasn't jabbing at you, but just like it's like the
everyone knows. Yeah,
it's not like a sleeper hit. You know what I mean?
Right. That's really underground, man. You wouldn't know it.
It's not like you know who Celine Dion is.
But his ship, Anakin's ship from Empire or Return or Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called, but
both him and Obi-Wan have the red and yellow one.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like those ones just because they're so like mobile.
I kind of like the Razor Crest from the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian.
You like the Razor Crest? I liked it. Like it was a cool ship.
Yeah, it's cool insofar as like I like that it's kind of junky.
I think it's just a little too bulky.
Yeah, it's a cargo ship.
Yeah,
it's not a fighter. So I kind of like that he's
using a cargo as a fighter, man.
Yeah,
throughout the most of it.
Yeah.
Well, that ship's gone.
Yeah, it got blown up. Now he's got the...
Which I'm excited to see the... what are they called from Phantom Menace? Oh my god, I can't remember.
I don't remember either.
Those super speeders.
Yeah, super speeder. Yeah, and I like that Grogu's like, hit the booster, hit the booster. Banging on the glass. Do it. right, we're getting off on a tangent. All right. We're not even talking about Andor anymore.
All right.
So yeah, Andy Serkis' character was really cool in the prison.
Mm.
Kind of like the idea of like a prisoner being in charge of the other prisoners,
Yeah.
and having that weird bit of like power dynamic between people who are at the end of the day just both prisoners. And we both were like, "Yo!" So the episode when I think it's maybe the second episode that they're in the prison, and Andor's like, "We got to get out of here. We got to get out of here. We got to get out of here." And at the beginning of the episode, he asks, he's trying to probe Andy Serkis' character, like give him info,
Yeah,
right?
how many guards are on each
And
floor?
he keeps asking him how many guards are on each floor, and he's like,
Fuck off.
yeah, basically, yeah, he's like, get back to work, And then at the end of the episode, they find out that
they'd fried the entire floor because somebody
got released from 4 and was
then
sent to 2.
sent back to 2,
And they got out that basically, like, we're not leaving.
No,
they're
not.
just going to recycle us.
And since they all found that out, they killed them all. But they were
Right.
able to tell another
through like
block,
sign language
through
or
sign
something.
language, through like some of the walls because they were clear when they're moving
Well, so
into
yeah, I
work.
bet what happened was they fried them in the shift change, and one of the other levels saw it
Yeah.
and was signing back, and
Like, oh shit.
which is why by the time it got to their floor, there was like something happened on 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so then it gets out that like, oh
Yeah.
fuck. But yeah, they asked the medic who comes to take care of that old man for them.
Yeah.
He had the stroke.
And he's like, yeah, they're not doing anything. Nobody's getting out.
Nobody's getting out. And Andy Serkis' character looks like
Yeah,
because he was kind of in that place of like he's almost out,
Mm-hmm.
and so
he
he's
had like
just trying to
40
keep
something
his
shifts
head down
left. Yeah.
and do his shifts, and then he's gone. Right? He's not out now. And so as they like, what do they call it? Assume protocol, which is just the hands laced behind the head and walking. And Andor asks him again, like, how many guards are on each floor? And he goes, never more than 12.
Never more than 12 on a floor.
And then it runs the credits, and we were like, yo, he's in.
That was gas.
He's in. Andy
Serkis is a good actor.
He's a very good actor.
Talented
I like
actor.
seeing his face more. You know what I mean? I like seeing Andy Serkis as opposed to Caesar as portrayed by. You know what I
Sure.
mean? Which I thought that was kind of a funny detail. Is like Snoke is Andy Serkis, so he's played 2 characters in Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah.
But doesn't matter because Snoke, first of all, ended up not being important, and second of all,
They're not in the same timeline.
well, yeah, they are, but they don't overlap.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. Sorry.
Yeah, they don't have any overlapping. Yeah, it's not like you're gonna have a scene with Andy Serkis and
Right.
Andy Serkis, and even still. But no, yeah, the prison break was cool, and like you said, give him the speech. And then last thing I just was thinking about was the Eye of the Storm.
Oh yeah.
During that whole heist, the visuals on that Eye of the Storm, fucking
Yeah.
that was movie like.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to see that in theater.
Yeah.
And so I thought for like being a TV series.
They did really
Holy hell. And like that was an episode where when they got out of the Eye of the Storm and like made it out, you, Morgan, and I were like, yo, that was it. That was dope. You know? And so yeah, that felt very Star Wars, and that was cool. But then just at the finale there, I liked seeing the rebellion kind of swell finally. Of like it played that powder keg moment well, I felt, of like they're just trying to have a funeral for this woman. And I mean, we kind of watched the finale with my dad.
Yeah, everyone knew.
Everyone respected her on Ferrix, and she had a rebellious nature about her, and she wanted to take down the Empire. Like she didn't like them being there, and so her frickin' funeral speech that she gives through the recorded what do you call that, hologram basically was like a call to action. It was an inciting action, and
it worked.
And one of the but see that my dad pointed out, the Empire is the one that escalated the situation by running out and trying to shut her down, and then they're like, hey, get
get
fuck off, and then it pops, and it felt like a real like civil unrest kind of thing. Of like, it's really tense, this could go off at any moment. You know what I mean? You've got a line of body shields, riot shields, and a line of angry citizens, and you're like, at any minute this could go off, and it does, and it escalates up into open fire, right?
And that kid made a bomb.
A bomb?
and
Yeah, it's
threw
blowing
it.
up the frickin'...
He threw it over the wall.
Yeah.
And it blew up and then detonated a bunch of the other bombs. And
detonated
killed.
the... what do you call that? The arsenal or the battery, you know. But yeah, that was really, really good.
That was really intense. And like
And the main Imperial investigator, she thought
she gets her.
Yeah,
We
thought she was gonna get pulled apart.
Yeah,
by the crowd
because the whole crowd grabs her like basically like each
limbs.
limb.
Yeah,
and
it's that mob thing of like
she's
gonna get pulled apart, like
Yeah.
and that's kind of shit that happens.
I kind of wanted that to happen.
I did too. I was like,
I hate her.
Yeah,
and you're supposed to.
Yeah,
That's the whole.
She does a good
point.
job at being an Imperial officer.
Yeah.
You know,
she's good with facial expressions too. Like, I look at her and I'm like, this
feel
bitch is
villainous.
crazy.
Yeah.
she's
got like that scowl and the pointed nose, and you're like, oh man, she feels like a villain. You know,
she is the living form of evil.
Yeah, and then her fucking creepy stalker.
Yeah, the police officer.
Yeah, the Deputy Dogood, you know, from the first few episodes, whose mom is an absolute just monster. Yeah,
twat.
Yeah. I was like, my God, put one in her head and then leave, you know. I thought he was going to. I thought he was going to fucking kill her and leave.
His name's Cyril. It's Cyril.
Is it Cyril?
It's Cyril. Because I as soon as I read that, I was like, that's funny, because all I can think is when he's slurping the cereal.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cyril, I think it's funny because he didn't intentionally stalk her in that, because he went to go find Andor, and then he saw her, but then he honed in on her.
Yeah,
He's
like he gets locked in. Because I mean, he literally was like, there she is. She's here. You know? Like,
I mean, he is over here.
Yeah. And like,
catch a waft of that, dude.
Yeah.
He's down horrendous for her.
Like, he's going to get a restraining order.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, she's going to be, this guy's got to get, or just kill him. Yeah. Like, she was ready to. And then she was kind of like, I feel like I should thank you. And he's like, you don't have to.
I was kind of mad that didn't bone.
I
was expecting at least a kiss.
Expecting like some uncomfy kissing where you're like,
because that's the thing, though, is like
they're both nuts.
Well, that too, but we also saw. Jesus,
I was afraid of what it was going to find, because I just said they're both nuts. She's like, I found this for nuts on the web. And you're like, oh
no. But like we saw like a makeout scene in the early Andor. So I was. Yeah. They kind of put that expectation out there now.
Yeah, like that.
I want
they're
to see
willing.
That. Yeah,
they're able to do that.
I want to see that. I want to see the dirty.
I want to see the creeper and the Imperial villain just get nasty.
I'm over joking myself.
He tells her to leave the hat on, you know.
Give me an order.
That's gross. That's gross. Do you have any more thoughts on Andor?
No. It was good. I'm excited for season 2.
Yeah.
I'm not too much for slow burns when they're. I mean, it can be a slow burn, but I do like a little bit of action in between. But I was very intrigued throughout all of it.
You need something shiny to keep you focused.
A little bit. Like, if, yeah, there's no ifs, ands, or buts around it. Yeah. But no, I really liked it. I'm excited for season 2, and I'm excited how they're going to plan that out. I hope it is a cool, nice, continuous flow.
Yeah, I hope it turns into something where, like, you can watch Andor, and then Rogue One, and then A New Hope.
Yeah.
And it's
just very flow.
Yeah.
Which I think would... That'd be cool.
It would redeem the first 2 acts of Rogue One. Because I think the first 2 acts of Rogue One are kind of hit or miss for me. But the war scene and like... I got to looking at it. It's pretty much the second hour of the movie.
Yeah.
Like...
It is a majority of...
It is a bizarre case where, like, it's I mean, everything is a 3-act structure.
Sure.
But the first 2 acts take place in an hour, and the third act takes place in an hour. So it's just over 2 hours. It's like 2 hours and 17 minutes.
But, like, I'm getting kind of sad because I really like Cassian. It's like, I know
he dies. Yeah.
But also, it's like...
That makes his sacrifice, from an audience standpoint, more emotional. Adds more weight to that.
Yeah. But, no, I'm really excited to see the flow, because, with the sequels, I did not like them. I'm not going to lie, I liked The Force Awakens.
Yeah, The Force Awakens was nice, and, I mean...
Because it was a New Hope. But they even gagged at it when Han Solo was like, haven't we already done this?
Yeah, this feels pretty...
we've done this before.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, obviously,
Yeah.
sure, it's a introduction, right? And then Last Jedi,
Yeah,
it was a good standalone movie. Like if it wasn't,
The Last Jedi. I think the problem the Last Jedi runs in the whole thing is. I mean, everybody's talked about. We're not gonna have any new. My hot take is like, I didn't hate the Last Jedi. Like,
I didn't hate it either, but I just didn't like the correlation to it. Felt a little off. It felt like there was a lot of jumps there.
It felt like we're gonna. Oh, excuse me. We're going to reverse some things, or like, So, like, one of the things that I really enjoyed from the Last Jedi, honestly, was Snoke saying, like, telling Rey, like, you're nobody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
you come
that.
from nothing.
That was intriguing to me because there is the cliche of like everyone's related to somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, why do they all have to be related, right?
This one.
Anakin's nobody in the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why can't Rey be a very strong Force user who's just a nobody?
Nobody. I mean,
Right.
yeah, it's just a coincidence that she is.
And there is that interesting thing of like she's intrigued. She wants to know her, you know, her lineage and all that. And for the answer to be underwhelming for her, of like I'm nobody.
Yeah.
You know, is like a nice okay. And now in the third movie, she has to pick herself up from that and wear that. You know,
if I'm nobody, then I am the start. Who?
Right. And then I think the Last Jedi could, or sorry, the Rise of Skywalker could have just leaned into the Last Jedi and built upon it. But I think it spent too much of its time trying to undo the Last Jedi that it didn't tie up the saga very well. Yeah, I mean, it spent too much time trying to not be the Last Jedi that it.
I did not like Rise of
Skywalker.
Skywalker.
I did not.
One bit.
No.
I thought all of it was not good.
Yeah.
Not good. Not good. Who was the slug?
So the whole problem, like, I always think about this, like, man, is like Morgan and I went and saw it. That's the last movie I saw before COVID.
Rip.
And I was like, nuh-uh. Like, I mean, obviously I didn't know, right? But then once COVID hits and it's like, oh, man, I got to think, like, reflecting. I'm like, man, I just miss going to the movies. You know, I was like,
that was one of the biggest things I missed. Is like, us going back. I missed the movies so much.
Yeah, and I was like, bro, the last movie I saw was The Rise of Skywalker, and I was pretty bummed by it too. Man,
this blows.
Yeah. All right.
We
got to talk about God of War.
We're trailing off again.
Yeah, we got to talk about God of War.
Yeah.
So, I don't know that there's going to be much structure. We're not going to do it like a movie review or anything like that. We're just going to kind of go, here's what we liked, didn't like, parts we liked, didn't like, things like that. And then get out of here, you know? Yeah. So I'll let you start because you've got it fresher.
So,
you just finished last night.
Yeah, I just finished just the story mode last night.
Yeah.
I haven't played any of the side. I played 2 side missions. But then I had to focus on. Oh Lord, here comes.
Oh Lordy, coming.
Hello, bub. I think he wants to say hello. What?
Give him the. What's that, Sullivan? Those weren't violent enough sniffs. Yeah, he ain't biting.
He ain't biting. We got a little sniff, but
Sullivan.
He's a little shy.
Sullivan.
He's getting butt scritches right now.
All right, lock it in.
So in the beginning, I was a fan of the fight between Thor and Kratos.
Yeah,
that was badass. I really like Thor in this one.
I do too.
At first, I wasn't expecting him.
I like his voice.
Yeah, he's very American, and I don't know why, but I wasn't expecting that. But I don't hate it.
No, and I like Odin. Like his stature, and I mean, he looks like a.
I like it because he's just a scrawny guy.
Yeah, he's a scrawny old man.
Yeah, he's a little. He seems so harmless.
But part of his thing is like he knows everything. Yeah. You know what I mean, his thing is knowledge, right? Knowledge.
Sitting in my garage.
That's Odin. He's just on
sitting
YouTube.
in my dungeon with this broken mask. I like learning more about broken masks. Knowledge.
He turns to his books, his library.
He's got a Lamborghini in the background.
The fight between Thor and
so the fight between them I thought was really fucking good.
Yeah, and how American Thor was, you said.
Yeah, but he cusses just so much, and he gets so creative with it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I really like that.
You were saying?
Wow.
Speaking of Thor, the alcoholism.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that he's a drunk.
he's an alcoholic.
But yeah, and I like that.
Which makes sense because I mean he is a very party heavy god.
Right, yeah. I mean, you kind of picture. I mean, I think like, another.
Yeah.
You know, from the MCU, but just in general, like, is this idea of like, you know, the God of War games definitely do a good job of being like, the gods are fucked up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're all corrupt.
Yeah, and like, if you look at any religion, the gods do fucked up stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, even in like, you know, modern religions like Christianity, like the Old Testament God ain't fucking around. Like, he nukes a city. Like,
What are you gonna
know
do?
what I mean? He floods the world. So it's things like that where it's like, yeah, every religion has those things, but what if you really honed in on like being a person in those times and being like, I'll tell you what, these gods kind of not
Suck.
great. Yeah, these gods are kind of fucks. I'm gonna tell you.
Not a fan.
Not crazy about it. I liked talking about the alcoholism with Thor. I like the flawed nature of Thor and how they do kind of build a. He ends up being analogous to like both Kratos and Atreus,
Yeah.
where like he is a potential future of Atreus if Kratos is a bad father.
Right.
And he is Kratos insofar as Kratos had a bad father.
Yeah.
And Thor has a
They're both very
terrible father.
aggressive.
And yeah, they're angry, don't know how to handle their emotions, right? They're just, their whole purpose is don't think, kill.
Yeah.
I think Odin basically tells Thor that.
Yeah.
At one point.
Yeah.
It's basically like,
Yeah. What are you doing? Why are you talking?
yeah, are you talking? That's not what I had you around
I told you
for.
to come kill him.
Yeah. And so yeah, it is like, you know, and you know, we're it's full spoilers on this, by the way.
Yeah,
We didn't
yeah,
say that.
yeah,
But yeah, full
spoilers ahead.
spoilers. Gas, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
Do we want to rate it?
Oh yeah. I'm. Both of us, I can say, are
Overwhelmed.
Yeah, very overwhelmed.
Yeah.
A resounding overwhelmed.
Yeah. But no, so spoilers. Yeah. At the end, when Thor dies, Kratos has that breakthrough with him of like, we have to be better.
For the sake of our children.
Yeah, for our children, we have to be better because basically it's like I wrote down that it kind of continues the themes of the first, which was like being better than you were, you know, self-improvement, and then like breaking the cycle of trauma, you know, of like basically parental given trauma.
Yeah.
Where Kratos is like, you know, and I do really appreciate that, like, what feels like a, man, dad's a dick kind of line from the first one of, you know, Kratos telling him, you know, don't be sorry, be better.
Yeah.
Kind of grows into being a deep moral lesson of the games is like, sorry is a word, right? But you have to be better. You can't just say sorry, right? You have to be better.
And I think that plays more on Kratos than it does Atreus.
Yeah. Yeah, where it's that, like, take your own advice, you know? Because I think I kind of alluded to it when we talked about God of War the first time and didn't really get to dig in because you were just starting. How I'd said that, like, you know, he has that conversation with Athena when he goes back to get the Blades of Chaos.
Yeah.
And, you know, she says, you know, she tells him, you know, that you'll never change, right? You'll always be a monster. And he's like, I know. You know? And so then the point of this one is like, what if I don't have to be a monster?
Yeah.
You know? And I think this one does a really good job of exploring that concept of like, he thinks he'll always be a monster, but what if he can be better?
And what if he can?
Yeah.
And he does. Like, I think in a very well way. And something else I really liked is in this one, they did a really good job with like characters and chemistry, like developing them. But in this one, we see a whole lot more of those roots. And I do like how there is that time jump because now it's like, oh, yeah, that's Mimir. He's with us.
Yeah.
Like, he's part of the family.
Yeah. It has like I think we talked about this, or I used this analogy when we first brought up God of War. But it feels like the uncle that it's like a Full House thing of like the uncle that's coming to help the widower. You know, where like mom always did the child rearing, and now mom's gone, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah,
I need help, right? And Mimir's kind of that uncle who's almost like the second dad of like.
Well, he even says, I mean, we got to talk what the fuck you and Morgan said to me.
Oh, yeah.
You motherfuckers. Yeah, Morgan, I'm not over this.
Yeah, Morgan kind of got back at you for, but not really. Kind of got back at you for the Darth Vader spoiler,
and
right?
It was an accident.
By going, not a spoiler, but
Kratos dies.
Kratos dies. And you were like...
And like, we were joking about it at first, and then she just kept saying it, and then you looked over at her.
Yeah,
and
I gave her a look like, dude.
Like, yeah, don't spoil it.
Like, why would you fucking say that to him?
And then Morgan really hammed it up, and she got all shitty, and I was just like, no fucking way. No fucking way. She just spoiled it.
Kratos doesn't die.
Kratos does not die.
Yeah.
And I mean, I started tearing up because the scene where you think he does die, like I was like, there it is. And then that scene, you know, where Atreus wakes up because he blacked out, and he's starting to walk, and you're thinking like something happened to him.
Yeah.
Even but I'm getting ahead of myself.
No, you're good.
But you know, you're talking to everybody, and then when you hit Mimir, and they're starting to talk, and Atreus goes, I really want to, but he tells him, he goes, you're like my second dad.
You're like my second dad. Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I love your brother.
Yeah, I love your brother.
But, I mean, I was... But then even when we see Kratos, when we find out he doesn't die, I thought at first, the way that the camera angle was, I thought he lost an arm.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, because like it showed his one arm, but it didn't show anything else, and it only showed one side of his body.
Yeah.
And there was that explosion.
Yeah,
and so I was like, did he lose an arm?
Lose an arm or something. Yeah,
up?
or like he's not going to be a warrior anymore.
Right, yeah.
He's out of commission.
Yeah. But then, like, more kind of jumping around.
Yeah,
but
it's fine. Yeah.
At the end, when, they open up that...
the cabinet.
Yeah, the cabinet of the giant vision.
Yeah, where you find out that...
Freya rewrote...
No.
Or not Freya, Faye.
Faye had rewritten their destiny, basically.
Because she didn't like that one.
Yeah.
And he's on one knee, and he's, talking to Atreus, and he's telling him,
Yeah, because basically Loki's got to go be a giant and try and find the rest of the giants' souls and potentially save Jotunheim, and he's going to go off with Angerboda and probably get busy and make more giants,
Yeah.
And like he's got to go be a man now, right? And Kratos has done his part, right? And it's that weird thing of like, I didn't want it to be over already,
But
like for Kratos, right? And and he tells him like, and he gets all emotional.
Oh,
yeah,
I cried. I was crying so hard.
Morgan's fucking sleep on the couch. It's 1:30 in the morning. She's snoring, and I've just got Kratos getting teary eyed, going, Loki must go, but Atreus will remain. And I was like,
dude. I mean, as soon as that happened, I was.
Yeah, right. I got flashbacks to Red Dead Redemption 2 because it's literally the same thing. Like Morgan tried to stay up and watch me play it and finish it, and she fell asleep, and so I just got her snoring behind me in bed, and I'm just, it's may I stand unshaken, and I'm just
in the dead, in the depths of the warm.
But yeah, and so I really like the thing that sunk for me. The more I thought on it, of like, man, that's a really powerful, like finishing touch for me. Was Kratos going around to the other side of that cabinet, opening it up, and realizing that part of his fate that Faye has written for him is that like he'll be
worshipped.
Loved. Yeah, like you won't be a god that's feared, and so like, and he like damn near falls over. Like he holds on to that cabinet. Braces himself on the cabinet and just looks like awestruck at that, seeing people worship him. And and Mimir's like, what have you seen there, brother? You look like you've seen a ghost, and he's like, just something that I never thought I'd see.
Imagined.
And and you're like, oh,
And that was like just such a quick.
He's not a monster.
He's not.
Like he is a hero
who saved the realms.
Yeah, and like he could be, you know, all Father Kratos, right? You know what I mean? Like, to these people, he is the savior, right? And it's like, that's powerful stuff for him, because especially when you have played or have seen or understand the first, like, 3 God of War games, his whole purpose is, like, he destroys ancient Greece through vengeance of the gods. You know, just by killing all the gods, he just sends Greece into chaos, kills himself, and then leaves, right?
Yeah, this party blows.
And then somehow winds up in you know, Norse mythology, Midgard, and starts over, right? And so for him to his climax to be, I'm a god that people like, right? Is like, all right, you know,
he deserves that win.
Because there's even like the reference, or like foreshadowing, I guess, from Odin, where he's like, he tells him like, you don't know what it's like to be loved as a god. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But now he does.
And yeah. And Odin, you know, people rose up against Odin, right? And now they followed him, right?
Yeah. Except for the dwarves.
Yeah.
They did not.
The dwarves were like, yeah, no, sorry, guy.
Without spoiling it for me, do we know why? Do we figure out why? Or know more about that knowledge in the side quests?
No.
I want to know
Not that
why.
I've found.
I want to know why.
So, I mean, it's not a spoiler. I'm going to spoil the premise of that side quest I was telling you to go do. It's Brock's funeral, which we have to talk about Brock's death, right? And that's kind of like, I'll say like the true ending of the game is like, because after you do that, you get the credits of the game, like black screen credits with music.
Oh, word.
I mean, you still get to then go back and keep doing all the side missions, but that's like the, now you're done, right? Is going to Brock's funeral in Svartalheim.
Damn.
Like, yeah, so Brock dies.
Wow. Yeah. Well, first, before we talk about his death, we got to talk about his blessing.
That was powerful stuff too.
That was I teared up.
Yeah,
like I didn't fully cry, but I was.
Yeah, same. Where it was like,
it was very emotional, and again, we get to see
example of Kratos being empathetic.
And
like
I think that's what does it.
More of a human.
I think that's what does it. Is it's coming from Kratos, and it's like he doesn't say that like often, so you know, so the motherfucker means it.
Yeah. Where they go to Svartalheim, because basically, before we talk about that, can we talk about the Fates?
Oh, yeah.
What are they called? The Norns.
Norns.
Yeah, that's a really cool scene. So
they look like, cool. I like that whole area, like
like the underwater,
but they kind of are. They're in the core, or what the anemone.
Yeah, the sea anemone, and and so basically they're like, look, there's this prophecy that like I'm gonna die, and Loki is gonna go with
serve Odin.
Yeah, go work for Odin. Not crazy about that. Can we go look at our fate, right? Because, like, in Greek mythology, he went and straight up killed the Fates and was like, yeah, I'm going to not do what you think is going to happen. And so he's like, yeah, worked once, right? And so they go. And I like the Norn that they're like, fate isn't like a predetermined, unavoidable thing. As far as like,
just predictable.
It's just you're so predictable that we know
what you're going
to do. Yeah, what you're going to say, when you say it, how you'll say it, to the point where, like, they're saying the lines alongside them, and it's like a like every time they do it, it's like a you know, how do you fucking know? You know, because like even Freya like screaming, "Shut up!"
Yeah, like
and they all three in sync
abruptly
with her. Yeah, and you're like, whoa. And so I like that hammers home this concept inside Kratos of like, I can't change, right? This is just who I am. And like, I'm gonna kill Heimdall, right?
And he does.
And then he goes and kills Heimdall, and it's like, fuck, dude.
But then that's the thing, is like he didn't want to. He wanted to change it, and he tried not to. He was like, look,
right, and
you
so
leave him alone, you live.
And so I don't remember the exact phrasing, but like he and Loki kind of adopt that motto, basically, of like,
it was
you know,
I got it. Hold on. It was
we do what we want, not because it is written, but because we choose it. Something to that effect.
Yes. Yeah, I think it is exactly that. Not because it is written, but because we choose to.
Yeah. We're not doing this because we have to. We're doing it because we want to.
Yeah.
Even if what we want to lines up with some of the fate, it doesn't mean fate is going to happen.
Right.
Right. We're doing what we choose to do.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, he kills Heimdall, and you're like, you know, is he slipping, right? And then, he kills Heimdall, gets that. But, yeah, to kill Heimdall, the dwarves are like, we need a weapon to, like, kill Heimdall.
Yeah. And
so they get the ring Draupnir, which I'd never heard of. But it's just this infinitely duplicating ring. And and they take that and some like a spearhead and stuff and take it into Svartalheim and go down this well or down this like
like an elevator, basically.
Yeah, an elevator into the lake, and there's a mermaid there, and she's apparently like this mystic forge, and they give her that, right? And the whole thing is that
blood.
She needs the blood of the god, yeah, which is kind of cool that like this weapon is forged with the blood of a god.
I did like it was a spear for
because he's a
Kratos
he's a Spartan.
Yeah,
and he fucking she speaks. Mermaids speak to the soul, not to the person, right? And because he's died, Sindri went and saved him, right? But couldn't get all 4 pieces of his soul.
Yeah,
he missed one.
Yeah, he only got 3.
And so he doesn't have a complete soul, so she couldn't even see him. And it was a big deal for him to meet her. Yeah. Right?
Yeah,
so
she was getting nervous, and Kratos even brings it up, like, are you nervous? And he straight up goes, fuck you, shut up.
Yeah, fuck off, Yeah. And so it's a big deal for him to see her and meet her, and then the fact that she just never addresses him really kind of hurt him. And then he figures out immediately, like,
I'm dead.
It's because I'm not. I don't have a soul, or a full soul. And, they wanted it to be blessed by her, and she flew away or swam away, and so then Kratos was like, no, like this thing still needs a blessing, and Brock's all pissed off, like, well, yep, she just fucked off, right? Like we aren't getting a blessing. And he's like, you
hands out to him,
like you could bless it,
And he goes, my blessing doesn't mean shit. And he goes, I want the blessing of like the best blacksmith,
like a great blacksmith. And he's like, all right. And he gives a nice, like, blacksmith's, like, blessing where it's something about, like, may this weapon strike true and, like, rest easy when its job is done. Basically be put down when its job is done. And then he's, like, spits on it and wipes the spit on it. And then he's like, there you go, And Kratos is like, now we're ready. Now it'll work.
And that touched Brock.
Yeah.
Because as they're leaving, he goes,
basically, thanks for what you said.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But then, Sindri, when Brock does die,
Sindri takes it hard.
Hard.
And I do think part of it is because...
Well, we got to talk about how he died first.
Yeah. So they find Tyr, the god of war in Norse mythology, and he's kind of a letdown because he's like full-on pacifist.
He's a big pacifist now. But then, twist... Turns out to be Odin.
Yeah.
And Tyr was dead all along.
Right, yeah. Right? Or is locked up somewhere, right? Yeah. We don't know where he's at, but I think I think the assumption is that he's dead.
But yeah, so he, found out
he's been listening the whole time.
Yeah, that Kratos and Atreus were still looking for Tyr, so he made like a shapeshift as Tyr.
And has kind of been manipulating them from the inside.
Trying to keep it, a pacifist way or a peaceful way. But that sounds like good, but it's not because Odin was still going to turn around and fuck him.
Right.
But then,
Brock kind of catches on.
Yeah, because Tyr starts calling him Loki and says, like, all right, well, let me go get my stuff, and is holding on to the mask. And Brock's like, hold on a hot damn second.
Yeah. And so Odin he starts wrestling with him for the mask. And he turns and sticks him. Like,
oh, I get you.
Oh, I get you. Yeah, and so he goes down, and you're like, no, you know. And
but then he tells Sindri, in his dying breath.
Yeah.
He's like,
I know what you did.
Yeah, I know what you did, and I forgive you for it, but you gotta let
go, dude. And he doesn't. Like he doesn't.
Ooh.
And I do think part of it is because, like, he knows that Brock's just gone, or like because he doesn't have a complete soul,
which is his fault.
Because
he couldn't. Accept it the first time.
Yeah.
And now
there's no way for him to get him back, right? And you're like, because he has no soul. The part of his soul that he lost was the part that gives him direction. So his soul didn't go anywhere. He's just gone.
Yeah.
Like I think I said to you, he basically took the atheistic route of like, there's just nothing, right? And he's gone, and he's done. And I do like that. Like Kratos and Atreus kind of just take a breather. They just go back to Midgard to think.
Yeah.
And Kratos even asks him like, "Okay, what are we doing?"
Yeah. And they go hunting.
And kind of come to terms like, "All right, we gotta go do something."
Yeah.
Right. And so they're gonna go back and basically we're gonna start Ragnarok, and we're gonna go get revenge on Odin.
Don't they? No, they help Freya before that.
Yeah, they've been with Freya.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we meet Freyr,
Her brother. Who
really,
I like.
really cool guy.
Yeah, he does seem. He's a very youthful guy who
jovial. Yeah,
kind of seems.
I don't want to say immature, but
Yeah,
a little
bit. Like he's like, you can tell you just got the gig, huh?
Right. Yeah. He's not necessarily, but there's obviously he has a natural born leadership quality.
He's got a silver tongue.
Yeah,
he can talk.
Insofar as he is a politician a little bit, and not in a negative way, but like you figure. You didn't do much of the side content,
but for whatever reason, the elves.
Yeah, so you find out. You don't really find out entirely why. I mean, they don't get into the nitty gritty, or they might have. It's been a minute since I did the stuff in Alfheim, but yeah, like the elves, dark and light, love Freyr. Like the last time the dark elves were at war, before the God of War games, he stopped it. Like he united them. And so it's like, man, this guy's got something there, right? Yeah. You know, he's a viable leader, and they end up using that in Ragnarok when they decide they are going to go to war with Odin or with Asgard. That like, hey, he's going to go get the elves, right? And Sindri even agrees to go try and convince the dwarves to fight, which, like you said, they don't.
They do not.
But it's nice of him to even, or no. It's not that they don't. He says basically that no more dwarves were going to die for this.
Oh.
Right? Okay. When he comes through, he basically is like, yeah, no, like, it's me. Like, I'm not bringing any more dwarves to die.
And that's an understandable thing.
All right, but he does bring the who's it, what's it, mabob to break the the glitch in the wall, basically, or the flaw, I think is what they call it. Yeah. That's something that's one of my gripes about.
Well, he also uses the it almost looks like a jack that you'd put under a car, and he slams it down and it breaks all their cannons that they built for him, which was attacking Ragnarok.
The battle. The what do you call those? The
catapults,
war machines, basically. Yeah, because they were like catapults, trebuchets.
Yeah, something like that,
and ballistas.
A little bit of magic in there.
Yeah, a little bit of whatchamacalls it. But no, a gripe I had was about the final conflict. Didn't feel that epic.
You think so?
Yeah. Like, so not the final boss fights.
Okay.
But like the battle to get to the wall.
Okay.
Didn't feel as grand as I wanted it to. You know what I mean?
I noticed I missed a lot of it. Like, you have to pay attention because it's all in the background, which I understand. But also, like, I didn't see half of it because,
I didn't have the camera in the right angle.
Yeah, the camera.
It could have even done like where it kind of grabs the camera from you and pans
which
over,
is fine.
Control the angle a little bit. That would have been fine. Yeah. So in my note, I kind of compared it. I kind of wanted something more like the finale of Mass Effect 3. So like, there's a big cutscene. Now, this isn't a cutscene style game, insofar as like it doesn't.
But it's got some good cutscenes.
But I mean, like it doesn't cut. Here's a cutscene, cut back. It does like the fluent camera motion, so it can't jump around. It has to be through, Kratos' point of view or whoever
they've done that before, where it still can be in Kratos' point of view
and have it, be a grand. But so like Mass Effect has this really big, epic like. I compare it to like a Lord of the Rings kind of like speech moment of like, this is the fate of everything, right? It should feel like
everything is on the line.
Everything is on the line, and we've united all of these people who do not agree because we have a common enemy. That's a big deal. And that's kind of similar to Mass Effect. Mass Effect 3 is all about uniting all of these races in the galaxy against a common enemy. Yeah. And then seeing them all come together at the end is supposed to be like a little tear in the eye of like, this is it. Like, we did it, right? Yeah. And this didn't have that for me. Didn't have that moment of like, because like even Kratos like starts to give a speech.
I noticed Freya kind of took over on that.
Yeah, kind of cut in.
I wasn't mad about, but
no. Because it does feel a little bit more like her battle.
Yeah.
Where like she has more invested in it than Kratos. Kratos almost feels like an unwilling passenger.
Yeah.
Of like he's doing it for
her
and Atreus. Of like, I'll do this for you guys. So that kind of makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know, just didn't quite strike me how I
that
wanted it
didn't
to.
I think
wasn't as epic as I thought it could have been, or should have been.
I think the way that Kratos started, it was very dramatic when Kratos started.
Yeah,
because he's kind of walking up those few steps, and he says something. You're like, oh, what's he about to get into? And then Freya just kind of comes in and starts talking, and she has a good speech. Don't get me wrong. But I think maybe they should have just had Freya walk up those stairs and then turn around.
Give a speech.
And I feel like that would have really emphasized on that
the dramatics of it.
Yeah.
You know.
The one thing I wanted to pick about was, and I noticed it more towards the end, which kind of shocked me. When you're just talking to people, like the specific scene I'm thinking of is at the end when Atreus is talking to Thud.
Thrud, yeah.
Thrud and Sif.
Oh, Lady Sif.
Yeah, Sif. It felt a lot like Skyrim or Fallout in the aspect of like their mouth was moving.
Oh, I got you,
but it was kind of moving, like
wasn't quite
bits and pieces. Sync. Yeah, bits and pieces were, but not all of it. But then as well as Thrud kept like looking around and like not looking at Atreus, and I was just like, this feels like Skyrim when they're
I gotcha.
the very NPC.
Yeah,
and that, I noticed that a little more, especially talking.
I didn't notice that, so I'm wondering if either A, I just didn't notice it, or B, I wonder if you were having like a minor glitch.
It could be.
You know what I mean? Where like she wasn't supposed to do that, but
I've noticed it with other players as well.
I might not have just noticed it then.
So that was my one thing, is I was like,
yeah,
come on, like you guys didn't have this in the first one. Why is this now? Why is this here now?
Thought I saw a word flash up on the thing. I'm like, you gotta be fucking with me.
No way.
Say something right now.
I think that was probably like, I don't want to like stroke it off too much, but I think that was probably my only problem with it.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of talked about when we brought it up the first time.
Oh, I got one.
The puzzles were kind of an issue for me, not in a difficulty standpoint, but like that your companions
help you.
Are way too quick to help you. You know, and where it's like, all right, easy. Like,
yeah, let me figure this out.
Because then I said, like, there are some where if it's not there
was some where they didn't say anything, and I was like, where the fuck are you right now?
So, like, I feel like the only ones that they give you hints on are, like, the story puzzles.
Yeah.
Where, like, you have to complete this puzzle to continue the story.
Yeah, and even the ones where they give you extra health or max rage, they
don't help you at all.
Not one bit.
It's like I said, I think I suggested there should be a button for a hint.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Where you're like, all right, let me press R3.
And that makes the most sense to me.
Because I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
You got any ideas? You know what I mean?
I lost my train of thought. I was going to say something.
You had another gripe that you thought about.
Oh, yeah, dude, the adding the runics to you, or like the enchantments. Yeah, not a clue. I mean, I'd go through and I'd kind of read them and be like, that one boosts, I can see it boosts my stats, so whichever one boosts it the greatest, I'll just add.
Right.
I mean, but like, I didn't really understand the perks of them. Maybe that's something I'll look more into of like, when I do the side quests.
Yeah.
But like, it didn't play a huge role into what I did. But I mean, it added some cool perks. I know, like, one of them did add a pretty cool perk about Atreus shooting, like, some certain, like, lethal shots, like, if they're at a certain health point or something like that. Easy.
Yeah.
And it's like
did
that
it come through?
A little bit.
Oh.
That was cool. But I think that was, like, the only one that really, like, stood out to me. The other ones were just, like, stuff that I was like, okay.
I had... So a tip that I didn't get the tip from the game, at least not that I went, okay, noted. You know what I mean?
I didn't get any tips for the runics.
So I don't think I did either.
Okay.
There's a button in the menus that where like it says like press R3 for this or whatever. Where like you can sort it by stat, but you can also equip. So like pick a stat like strength, and then equip whatever will give you the highest strength stat. Okay. And so it'll equip all the armor, everything that will give you the highest strength stat.
So that makes me feel like you need to have multiple armors. Like different armors for different people. I mean, which makes...
yes and no.
I say that makes sense. I understand like the path they're going through on that, but it also doesn't make sense because you can level... Like, it takes so much to max level all of your shit.
I picked a suit of armor and never...
That's what I did.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I did.
It out.
But it took me until, I think, again, I didn't play any of the side quests. That could have been a big piece of it.
Probably.
But, like, it took me until maybe right before the end of the game, maybe like an hour and a half before I was able to, like, max it all out.
Uh-huh. Did you max it all out?
It is. My chest pieces and my weapons are.
Did you have to go to Muspelheim at all?
Yeah.
And, like, do the trials?
I didn't do the trials.
Hmm.
Which one did it make you do for?
So,
The only one I haven't fully upgraded is the spear. But, like, the Leviathan and the Blades of Chaos are both fully.
They're all at 9?
Mm-hmm. Oh, no. The
You're talking about the skill trees?
The skills trees.
Okay, I thought you were talking about, like, your armor was fully...
No, one of them is. That's my chest piece.
I gotcha.
My chest piece.
Yeah, so, like, for me to max out my armor, I just burned through... I looked ahead and was like, okay, what do I got to get? And, like, I ended up Googling, like, okay, where do I find these, what do you call them? Resources, right? And I was like, you got to go do these trials in Muspelheim. And I was like, that's me. And it's like,
That's
I
where
went
I'm
and
at.
did it.
That's where I'm at.
And so, like, by the time I finished the game, I think we talked about it, like, I had my armor was fully maxed out. Every single skill tree was maxed out, except maybe the drop near spear because it was so new.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think I had the skills maxed out, but I didn't. It was the least upgraded weapon.
Yeah.
As far as like at the blacksmith.
I had a big turn of events, and I think for 3/4 of the game, I strictly used the Leviathan, and then for the last quarter, it switched over to the Blades of Chaos.
Yeah. And I was telling you that, where I was like, you got to experiment a little bit more, bub. Where you're like,
well, that's the thing.
I don't use the blades, and I was like, he needs to.
I tried them, and it wasn't for me, and I was working with Leviathan, and then like,
because also there's enemies.
Well, I know that, and like for those there, like you can get that bar down, and then I'll swap over to the Leviathan, and then I'll chop them up, and that'll do the job. Or like the fire enemies, a lot of them from like or in Helheim.
Yeah, the frost enemies.
Yeah, those ones I pull out the Blades of Chaos. But I don't know. I just turned into. I felt like I was able to do a little more like splash effect with the Blades of Chaos.
Area of effect stuff.
So and like I could get an attack going, and I'd be able to basically attack all the way around me at all times.
Yeah.
So I found that a little bit more useful. I started parrying.
Yeah.
I was able to kind of. I'm not great at it, but I'm able to do it. That
is a game changer.
Yeah, it is. It helped me significantly.
That is one of the best parts of that. I think the combat is so rewarding in this game. First one as well. But, like, figuring out your enemy's rhythm and then being like, all right, I've got it. I always think about Captain America Civil War.
Iron Man,
like, analyzing the combat pattern and then be like, developing the counter measure. That's kind of how it feels. Is like, especially some of the boss fights are like, so I'm in the side content now, and there's side bosses that are kind of analogous to the Valkyrie in the first game. It's like, all right, I'm going to go find these, fight them, and I feel like at the end of all 10 or 12, however many they are, I'll probably get something, right? It's like in the first game, apparently the ending was like, you fight Freya, not knowing that she's the Valkyrie that you're fighting. I didn't do that because the Valkyries fucking sucked.
Yeah.
But I'm making decent progress on these guys. And I don't know if that's a case of they're easier or if I'm just better or more patient.
I could not beat one Valkyrie. I think I did beat one Valkyrie.
I beat the first Valkyrie.
And then I could not. I tried the second one. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
Because the first one I thought the area was really cool because you walk in that room and it's almost like a Zen
area.
Yeah. I like that one. And I beat that one, Valkyrie. Couldn't beat any of the other ones.
Yeah. So, yeah, in this one, I've beat, like, 4. I think there's 10. And I've beat, like, 4 of the guys. But...
Yeah, because you fight Jania? That's the new queen of Valkyrie that Odin appointed?
No. I'm just talking about these side bosses that are, like, ghost knights, basically, where there's, like, a tombstone and you put the hilt of the sword in.
I fought one of them. Did you kill them? No.
Yeah, they're hard.
That was the one that you... I was talking I told to you about, and then
don't.
You're like, don't waste your time. And I said, all right.
Yeah, like, you'll spend a lot of time on these. But, so those are really rewarding. in the combat because it'll be like, okay, you feel yourself getting better each time. Or, you might have one where you're like, as soon as you start taking hits, you just pause and restart because you're like, I know that I'm out. Like, I've already lost. And so I'll be like, I'll set goals in my head of like, I had to get him to this point before I have to use my resurrection stone.
Yeah.
And if I haven't, then it's hard,
Yeah.
And so once you find their rhythm of like, all right, dodge, 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 parry, counter, and especially because I used the, what do we decide it was called? The shield. It was the
Dauntless shield?
Dauntless. Is that the right one? Yeah.
That's the
Dauntless
parrying
is like
shield.
the perfect parry shield.
Yeah.
Because I love the perfect parry of like where you parry and it goes into slow motion. And you get the opportunity to punch or counter. Yeah. And I had a few perks stacked up so that like when I got a perfect parry, I'd get a burst of health and things like that. So I was, encouraged.
You were juiced up.
Yeah. And yeah, I had to get the rhythms down where it's like, I'm going MLG on this thing. Like, because I also.
You're holding your controller weird.
Yeah, I've got
You're clawing it.
I've got the inside scoop. I know the strange tactics here. But no, I mean, we're getting into the nitty gritty on that. But just, the combat is so rewarding of like, once it starts to flow and you're like, everything you're throwing at me, I got the counter,
Me, on the other hand, for
and
like the very
over there.
Yeah, for the very beginning, I mean, I would just dodge. I mean, that's what I would. I'd dodge, wait till they're done attacking, find the rhythm, and then I'd just run in there and beat the shit out of them
as fast as you could, and then get out,
and get out and repeat. And it works.
It was working.
It works.
I was thinking about this, talking about me, like here's me over here, right? Perfect. Oh my God, I'm like an eagle. I'm like a leaf on the wind. Rolling around. But no, in the fight in like the space between realms. When you're between like the border between like Nilfheim and Muspelheim, when you're creating Ragnarok.
Yes.
And you get attacked by the two Valkyries.
Yeah.
And I got to watch you fight them. And you literally, I caught you like trying to block the attacks that you have to parry. And you were like, and it like, it breaks your block and you get stunned and it goes in slow motion. You're like, what am I supposed to do there? And I'm like, nothing. That's you getting fucked. Like, you're supposed to parry that. And you're like, and I'm like, dude. And you're like, I can't. I'm just not going to do that. And I'm like, well, then life's going to be hard. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
And I got through it.
And then you started.
I got through it.
And I kept seeing you, like, accidentally parry. And I'm like, you just parried. Like, and you're like,
what was it? What they say when the
broken clocks right twice a day.
Well, no, you said it was going to be hard, and I remember it was part of the Dare program when the when the going gets tough, the tough choose to go on.
Yeah,
one of Dare's biggest slogans.
No, and so I do like hearing you say that, like, you started to parry.
Yeah,
where you're like, oh. Okay. Shit, this is actually
I'm learning.
When they flash yellow, I need to block at the last minute.
At the
I think
to that second ring there.
And I think that's what I ended up telling you was like, just wait as long as possible and then block, and then you'll parry. And you're like, okay.
Yeah, but fucking it. The reward for me, I feel, is very different because it's me sweating.
Yeah, right.
On this and then I'm done like,
I got it. I am the greatest. I'm the greatest. So
I lean back. I'm all sweaty. I'm somehow naked.
Yeah. So Morgan watched me play, and so I beat the Valkyries, and then you have to work your way back through Muspelheim to get to the gate, and you kind of get like attacked by a pretty large crowd of like a mix where it's like, here's one of those wildlife like deer things that like electrocute you and shit.
I don't like those ones.
No. But
I didn't like anything that electrocuted me.
I fought that whole crowd and never took a hit. And I paused the game and looked over at Morgan. And I went, I think I just beat the game. Like, I just looked at her. I was like, I'm a god. And she's like, what? And I was like, no, I didn't take damage there.
Not a single one.
And I was like, it was me, that controller, and there was the game. Like, it was just, I was in the zone. Game. And then I immediately unpause and go up a ridge and then just get shit
obliterated.
On. And I was like,
get shit on.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh no. And I do think that's a quality of the game is like, poof. Like, you're never like, that is an odd thing of like, you're a god, right? But then like,
you can still die.
The right grunt can fuck you dead.
Yeah.
Like,
I can't remember what it was, but I hit a point where I kept getting fucked up by grunts, and I remember saying out loud to myself, why the fuck are these guys getting me?
Yeah, like, I'm a god.
Like, I was like, dude, like, these are just easy level 2 guys.
Yeah.
Why the fuck? That game made me mad a couple times.
Yeah.
Not like I'm not one to throw my controller or anything,
yeah.
but I
feel it. You
squeezed
the shit out of it.
I squeezed the piss out of it.
Where like the plastic starts to crinkle.
Yeah, I gotta stop.
set
I'm
this
getting mad.
down.
I'm getting mad. Do you want to try to say hello again, Sullivan?
So he's over there wiggling at you.
Picked up a little huff. He's a tired boy.
All right, we're going on an hour. Hour 10. It's hour 7, yeah.
Jeez.
We talk. We also spent like 15 minutes on Andor.
That's true.
But you got anything like about God of War that you're like, I gotta make sure I say that? Atreus gameplay?
Atreus gameplay was really fucking good.
Yeah.
I liked playing as Atreus. Another gripe, I felt OP as Atreus. I felt the enemies were very easy, especially like they weren't that easy when it came to like archery. Like you had to be pretty skilled on that. But if it was hand to hand, like I would just take that bow and it's 2 or 3 hits and they're done.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was fun because I liked doing that because I mean, it was fun just to kind of rampage and be a barbaric. Be barbaric towards some of the enemies playing as Atreus. But it also was like this feels very easy and this feels very unbalanced.
Yeah.
Because I'm not. What difficulty did you play? Because I played on give me balance of both story and combat.
Yeah, I played on whatever like the default setting was.
Yeah. Okay. But so like,
because I feel like the first time I played, it, like the first game, I played it on the second, the next one up, and it took me too long.
Yeah.
Where like, I enjoyed it. You know, it wasn't too hard. It wasn't so hard that I hated it. But it was just difficult, right? And so it took longer. And I knew that I was wanting to burn through this one. So I was like, I need to just play it on standard.
And then, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I was a big fan of Kratos, seeing more of an emotional side to him. Learning more about, we already talked about, like Thor, Odin, everything like that.
Yeah.
Who was the boy that was from Asgard? That Atreus,
I don't know that he was somebody.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that he was just a kid that Atreus met.
Yeah. So I don't think he was from Asgard.
But Odin took him
He was
in.
he was a Midgardian refugee, basically. Yeah. That when the Fimbulwinter rolled up,
he put them on the line. That's something I want to talk about. Is Odin straight up
using them as cannon fodder.
And then a really good quote Kratos says is war is won by people who are willing to sacrifice everything. Yeah. That is a really good quote.
Yeah, but then doesn't he end up basically reneging on that? In a positive way of like when he basically is like, these people aren't, like, we're not sacrificing these people.
Yes, but they didn't need to.
Right.
That's the thing.
He's like, we gotta,
They got nothing
like
to do
they
with
basically call off the army.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, we need to go in and do this, and these people have to stop dying. Yeah. Like, we got to call this off. And I like that he had his little moment with Faye before they went to war.
I also, thinking on it, I feel like that still kind of stands to Kratos' quote, because, I mean, to Kratos at least, and in a literal standpoint, his everything is Mimir. Freya, that close
right? Yeah, he was willing to lose all of those things. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, I thought that was I don't know, to me at least.
Yeah.
Call me quirky, but that was a really moving.
You're just
quote.
A goofy dude,
Yeah, you know me. Just
but
a fun guy.
So he gets to tell Atreus a bedtime story.
Yeah.
And then he himself goes to sleep and has another dream with Faye. And that the dream with Faye that's the quote for me, is from Faye. When, like, the dream that he has is her making him help her pick out her funeral pyre. And then you find out that, like, the tree at the beginning of the first game
is the one that he's holding.
Is, that's got the yellow or the gold paint on it, was one that she'd picked herself, right? And, like, that's why he's chopping it down. It's because she told him, like, these trees are the good trees for this funeral pyre, right? And so she knows, because of the nature of being a giant, she knows she's dying, or that she's going to die here soon. And so they're kind of having this debate about like what to do with her, because in Norse mythology it's typical to have a basically cremation, like a funeral pyre, and in Greek it's like you bury or you entomb them. And she's like, oh great, you want me like kept in some cold gross underground, and he's like, I want you with me, she's like, I'm always with you, and he's like, yeah, but then when you die and go away, that part goes with me, or goes with you. And so it's that weird debate, right? And she tells him something to the effect of basically like, to grieve deeply is to have loved fully.
Yeah.
And it's like, it kind of reminded me of WandaVision.
Yeah.
Where he tells her that,
with saying hello and goodbye.
No. Where it's supposed to be like filling the gap for Civil War. For Civil War, where like she's still grieving her brother's loss, Quicksilver's loss, and he tells her something to the effect of like, grief is just love persevering.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's that idea of like, it's part of it, You're grieving because you love.
You love them.
Right, that's an expression of love. And then she tells him, like, I need you to do me a favor, like, go out into the world, don't close yourself off to the world.
Mm-mm.
You need to open yourself up to it, and I promise you'll find reasons to keep living in it.
And he does.
Yeah. And it's like, that's nice. That like, you do get to see, okay, what is this man's relationship like? Because you don't picture him as like
a husband.
Right, a husband or a father.
Mm-mm.
And, so it was nice to see those connections.
We got to see just a dinner table of Atreus, Mimir, Tyr, Brock, Sindri, and Kratos just eating.
Just eating like soup.
Silently.
Yeah. Like
I kept it on there for 20 minutes. I mean, deadass just watching Kratos eat his sausage and just be happy.
If you know what I'm saying.
If you know what I'm saying. Sindri. No. I'm getting in that thing. No, but like I thought that was pretty interesting. I thought that was goofy, but not in like a why is this in here? But I was like that is something you never. I don't picture that happening,
like
but it is.
Meal, but it does have to happen.
Then, it is like, well, they gotta fucking eat. Like they're still, they function. They have to function somehow.
Yeah, they're eating meals.
But then speaking of Sindri, we didn't talk about Sindri, like his after effect. He doesn't forgive Atreus or Kratos.
No,
because it is
partially their fault.
Yeah, because Sindri goes on to say about how
like he opened their home to them. And
I opened my home to you. I opened my family to you.
Now I have nothing.
I have nothing. Yeah. And it is kind of like he's not wrong.
Yeah.
It is Sindri's fault to an extent. But
right. Yeah.
I understand
grief
where he's coming from.
isn't logical necessarily.
And then Kratos
basically says that like
mourn in any way you have to.
Yeah. Mourn.
And then he's like, all right, Atreus, that's our cue. Let's dip.
Yeah. Let's get out of here.
But then when we see him again in Ragnarok,
he's not looking great.
Nah, his eye, like, again, I'm not sure.
He's kind of greasy, like
for me,
grayer somehow.
He's a little more gray. He's got his gloves off, which makes him look weird. Like his arms look too long.
Yeah, and then I don't know. He looks almost greasy, like sweaty.
A little bit.
He almost looks ill.
Mm-hmm. Not doing good.
Yeah, and I don't mean he's the illest. I mean he is not well.
But then like and I'm not sure if it was a glitch, but like his eyes were just all red, like pupils were red, everything was red. But then in the next scene following, his eyes were just red as if like, not like crying, but like strained or exhaustion.
Like bloodshot. Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it was like a glitch or something that was in there.
So the bloodshot I saw. I don't recall all the fully red.
Maybe it was just a glitch then.
Could be.
But yeah, just seeing the bloodshot, and then when Atreus saves him, and Sindri's like, "Oh, what? Do you want to thank you?" And then he's like, "No, I just wanted." And he interrupts him and goes, "Fuck you! I don't care what you want."
Yeah.
And then blips away and goes farther down. And I'm like, "Dude, Sindri is pissed."
Yeah. And he ends up being the one to kill Odin. So in the final battle, Loki.
Mm-hmm.
Puts Odin's soul inside a marble, and it's kind of like basically we're gonna put him in jail.
That's
forever,
what giants
right?
do. Is they
for eternity
they put their souls in that, or that's how they hid.
That's how they were hiding from Odin. Was they put their souls in the gems. And they're like, all right, do we smash it? Like Freya's like,
well, Kratos gives it to Freya and says like, I robbed you once of choosing between life or death. I'm not gonna do that to you again. This is your war.
Yeah, you get to choose.
And gives her the marble,
and she's kind of like, no.
I mean, I've waited so long to have this, for this moment, and here, kind of like classic. But now that I'm here, is it worth it?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
and then gives it back to Atreus, And Atreus kind of looks at it for a little bit, and then Sindri just
blips in,
like
snags it, and sets it down, and just smashes it with his hammer.
Yeah, because they say, or what they say? They say, "What happens next?"
Mm-hmm.
And he slams it, breaks it with a hammer, and goes, "That's what happens next." Turns around,
looks
huffs at him, and then blips
just
away.
Blips away, and you're like, "Word."
Dude, he straight up killed him and gone.
Yeah, because he killed his brother.
Yeah. So that was. I'm curious on Sindri.
Yeah.
Are there side quests about Sindri?
I don't know.
I hope
not
there
that
are.
I've played.
I hope there are.
He's at the funeral.
Is he?
He's at Brock's funeral.
Okay.
But other than that, I don't know.
Okay. I hope there's stuff about Sindri. I'd like, in a perfect world, I'd like to have Sindri and Atreus and Kratos make up.
Yeah.
Don't think that's gonna happen though.
No.
Or else it probably would have been in the story.
Right.
But you never know.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure we forgot something, but we gotta wrap her up.
If we forgot something that you want us to point us out, if you want to point out, definitely leave us an email at simplywellmailbag@gmail.com. Hey yo.
So yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Wrap it up. All right. So again, we want to thank you guys so much for your attention and support. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to give it a great review. Tell your friends about us. Share us on social media. Word of mouth is one of the biggest endorsements right now, obviously.
No, I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
I got your word of mouth.
Yeah, I got your word of mouth right here. We got our Facebook group, right? All that good stuff. Check us out.
That's right.
How are they going to get in touch with us, Chris?
Oh, of course. You can always, if you want to, you can. Swallowing the mic.
Yeah.
You can always check us out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, at Simply Well Podcast. What are we gonna do with that?
So we got Facebook, we got Instagram, we got a Twitter.
We got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Our Facebook and Instagram is going to be Simply Whelmed Podcast. Our Twitter handle is whelmed_simply. And, of course, you can always send us an email, once again, at simplywhelmmailbag@gmail.com.
That's right. No, I don't know. I've got a vacation in a few months. Like in like 6 weeks. And I'll probably just burn through making videos for the last 17 episodes
just
that I haven't
30
done.
Something or no,
just going up at once.
40.
Well, so we've got. The weird thing is like
it'd be 40 episodes because we have 2 episodes up there.
Oh, huh. We've got like 12 up.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking. Oh, no, we're fine. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
check out the YouTube.
Yeah,
check out the
get in
YouTube.
there.
Yeah, no.
But the weird part is like they're not the first 12 episodes because we didn't start doing the YouTube at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
So it's like episodes like 20 through 32. And then I was like, I forgot once. And it felt like a lot to go back and keep, catch it back up.
Oh, real quick.
Yeah.
What you been thinking about? We are going to have that.
Okay.
Because there's been some stuff I want to talk about.
Okay.
I got a shirt from you from Christmas.
Uh-huh. That says
not a sponsor.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about making merch, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So you asking me what I've been thinking about, or what do you?
What's your thoughts on it?
I don't know, man. Why you want to have this conversation on the podcast? Talking shop in the podcast again. You're like, well, we're just spitballing, man.
We're just shooting the shit.
Yeah. We're on a crunch here, baby. What are you trying to have us have a fucking business meeting in the middle of this?
Fuck, let me take my socks off. Yeah, I could smell that before you fucking farted. Like, play it back, and you'll hear me go.
Oh, I did. I heard.
I was like, something smells, bro, and then
Something's weird.
It's like a sixth sense.
A sixth sense,
Wow.
Next week, we're going to look at the murder mystery Glass Onion, Knives Out story. It's like, right now, it's the #1 movie in the world on Netflix.
Oh.
So, I think people will have seen it when we talk about it.
Yes.
So, yeah, definitely check it out on Netflix. That way we can be
Bullet Train
on the same
Netflix,
page.
too.
Bullet Train is on Netflix. I want people that. But, yeah.
I see a lot of memes about Bullet Train.
I was thinking not next week, but the week after, we might do like a...
I just figured, if anything, maybe we just watch it. Same thing as Andor. Like, yeah, we like the movie.
Yeah.
This is some...
Yeah, no. So I'm not talking about Bullet Train.
Oh.
So next week, Glass Onion. week after that, we might do like either a recap of things that we liked from 2022 and then the things that we're looking forward to in 2023. I could see us we could do both in the same episode. Like, here's the things that we liked from last year and the things that we're looking forward to next year.
Let me spit something at you here. We can do whatever we want.
Right. It's our goddamn show.
Exactly. Like nobody can tell us no. Nobody. How does it feel? Well,
we can't just start singing copyrighted music. Someone will tell us no.
We can. It'll get taken down.
Right, it's like the whole freedom of speech thing. I thought we had freedom of speech.
Well,
like you do,
but you
just don't have freedom from consequences.
Yeah.
You can say what you want,
but the consequences that come after
makes me think there's a really good clip of I can't think of the actor's name, but he's on a news show. It seems like a news show potentially, maybe a news show with like a political slant. And the actor is a black man, and the anchor or the host or whatever is a white man. And he kind of they're on this debate of basically like the anchor is essentially like, I'm just saying it's just a word. Why can they say it and we can't? Right? Talking about the N word.
Sure.
And the actor basically goes, you can say it. Say it.
Yeah,
and he's like, well, no, I'm not saying I want to say it. And he's like, no. You obviously want to say it. Say it. Like, you can say it. Like, it's a free country. You got the freedom of speech. Say it. And the guy clams up way big. Like, he's, no, I'm not, It's like, no, like, you're going to say it. I'm not. He's basically like, we're not going to continue until you say it.
Say it.
And the guy's like, they straight up like go to commercial. They're like, all right, we gotta get out of this.
What?
And I love that because it is that like, you can say it, but if I pop you in the mouth for saying it,
It just goes to show people are entitled.
right? Yeah.
Right, and it is like they have to have everything.
But
we went on a tangent.
Yeah, that was a bit of an. We were literally at the end.
Yeah.
So
just goes to show like how quick it can spiral.
Yeah.
And how easily we fall into it every single time.
Yeah. Shiny. We're doing it again. This is the end of the episode, Chris. Tell everybody bye.
Bye.
An hour and 23 minutes. It was a full-length episode.